Well, Nick is also with us today. He's looking at the world papers. He's been looking at some of the coverage of that political crisis in Brazil. As we've been saying, the vote's ongoing, isn't it? We're expecting it in the next hour or maybe 2 hours' time.
Well, for some clarifications, Stuart, let's go to one of the Brazilian papers, La Folha de San Paulo. Apologies for my pronunciation of that. That cartoon there, you can see the new person emerging, the vice-president in this political crisis, and the cartoon there showing Michel Temer standing in front of a mirror. I couldn't quite work out whether this was a question of mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all, or was it just some kind of emperor with no clothes. Clearly, Michel Temer is eyeing one thing only, that is the president's band there, that he clearly is wants and is heading for. One analysis might be it's just an empty suit in that cartoon. So, O Novo Presidente, the new president.
OK, yeah, I'm sure he probably will be, but looking at the way things seem to be going. In terms of analysis, though, Nick, one of the other main Brazilian papers saying this is just one crisis too many. A huge shake-up is needed now.
Well, Dilma Rousseff or Michel Temer, for this piece in O Globo, it is very much now time to get the country back on track. It says that though there is a massive crisis, this is actually a perfect time, ironically, for political reform. There you can see it's time to engage in political reform. Suggestions include modernizing the electoral system at the local level in terms of constituencies and districts, having a 5-year term and not a presidential one, and ensuring such things as when a party sets up that they actually do what they say they do. They are what they say they are. There's a lack of transparency at that level, the paper says. Now, the problem in this piece for O Globo is, well, who can spearhead such a reform? Clearly not Rousseff's Workers' Party, and Michel Temer's Brazilian Democratic Movement Party is, the quote there, allergic to change in the electoral system. So let's go away from Brazil to look at other coverage elsewhere. The Wall Street Journal Europe is saying that Rousseff's Workers' Party is actually plotting its next moves already. It will, of course, denounce a coup. It will join forces with other parties. There'll be more demos. Rousseff's removal, the argument is that it could actually benefit the party, the fact that she goes, by energizing the grassroots support. And the pressure will be on Michel Temer, the vice president, now possibly the president, as he too faces corruption allegations linked to Petrobras.
Yeah, a lot about corruption today, of course, because corruption is also the focus, as Delano was saying, of that conference in London this Thursday. The Prime Minister David Cameron in diplomatic hot water after being recorded, saying Nigeria is fantastically corrupt.
Well, this has overshadowed this conference in London, which is Cameron's move to spearhead an anti-corruption campaign. He was overheard saying the country was, as you said, fantastically corrupt. The Nigerian paper today is saying that Buhari is right not to ask for an apology, but for ask for the looted money in London banks to be returned to Nigeria. Now, the quote there in Nigeria's today is that the Nigerian people, all 200 million of them, see nothing fantastic about the scale of corruption in the country. They are aware of the wholesale rape that has taken place, which is tragic and criminal. Another quote in that paper: if Britain is genuinely committed to anti-corruption, it must return all the looted money to Nigeria. Cameron, it says, is provocatively patronizing. Let's switch to the Punch newspaper, which is perhaps the main Nigerian paper. The writer there, Adimbola Adelakun, argues, yes, Buhari has taken strides in an anti-corruption campaign since he was sworn in a year ago, but there's nothing radically different about what he's doing. There's been a series of public trials, yes, but that's not enough. And the idea that somehow he is above the people of Nigeria in an anti-corruption campaign is not right. She says his supporters should not pitch him that way. Let me just end on Woody Allen at Cannes with Cafe Society. He's in The Guardian, looking very happy indeed, although saying, I abhor film contests. His film Cafe Society opened the Cannes
He opens it almost every year, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He's delighted there, surrounded by Kristen Stewart and Blake Lively. However, scandal is in his footsteps, as Ronan Farrow, his estranged son, has been writing in The Hollywood Reporter that the media media are not following up on the scandal of years ago about sexual abuse within the family, and that is unacceptable. Ronan Farrow, very angry indeed in The Hollywood Reporter. He says that the press in Cannes will not go to Woody Allen and say, ask those difficult questions, because it's not done. It's not the place, it's not the time. So he says there's a collusion between the press and Allen.
Glitz and controversy there at Cannes. Thanks very much to Nick and Delano here on France 24.